What up, everybody? Thanks for checking into the Mamba podcast. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jackson, and this is a true emergency podcast. There has been some very breaking news within the last hour or so now. For those of you who don't know, the Lakers have made it official. They have parted ways with Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak and have hired Magic Johnson to take over as president of basketball operations. I mean, like I said, this news broke about an hour or so ago, and I was completely speechless. And I've given enough time now where I've gathered a little bit more information, and I feel like I can have a better, you know, not so much understanding, but better at least have better thoughts about it. And it's first things first, you know if you tune into the podcast, a few episodes ago I laid out how when they initially brought on Magic, what that could entail, and how he was just an advisor, and he was saying oh, I'm not going to really interfere in this and doing this and that, and Jeannie Buss and Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak were looking forward to working with him, but I guess that was I believe I kind of teased at it that they might just be saying that to keep up the charade, but yeah, Genie dropped the hammer. Like I said in the last one, or the previous episode, Genie Buss. Although Genie and Jim both own the Lakers, Genie has full control, and she definitely exercised it today. Because again, Jim essentially kind of shot himself in the foot. I'm feeling, saying what he said 3 or 4 years ago about the Lakers will be, back on top and stuff, when there was clearly no chance. Apparently, everyone knows, the Lakers haven't been that great the last few seasons. Everyone knows that. And that comes with, a rebuild process. That's going to be inevitable. But apparently, I guess the tipping point was, if you don't know, the Lakers supposedly had a chance to get Boogie, but they had to include Brandon Ingram in the package, and didn't want to, and so they didn't get DeMarcus Cousins. But from what I'm seeing, that Jeannie Buss felt that they should have made that move. She didn't directly say yes, use Brandon Ingram in the deal, but she felt that it's been going on too long where the Lakers aren't or haven't been that destination for key free agents, and I guess that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And so Jim Buss is out, Mitch Kupchak's out. It's just crazy. And I believe Ramona Shelburne or Rachel Nichols brought it up. There's a good point. As crazy as this sounds, it could have been a lot worse because they are brother and sister. And anytime, like I've said before in other episodes, anytime you mix family with business, things could get really messy and really ugly. And so far things are going about as cordially as they possibly can, and as business-like and as professional as they can. So kudos to them for that. Kudos to Jeannie for that. But I mean, I said it in the last episode or the other episode. I love Magic Johnson so much. Everyone in LA loves Magic Johnson. Shoot, not even just LA. Everyone everywhere loves Magic Johnson. Even Celtics fans. Minus of what he did to you guys on the floor, you can't deny that Magic Johnson is one of the most charismatic and lovable guys of all time. I mean, it's just he just like I said, he just oozes charisma, oozes cool, oozes fun, and just a positive energy all the time. And that's what makes feeling so worried about this so bad. And I know I'm not alone in this feeling as a Laker fan. I mean, I joke around about Magic Johnson's Twitter all the time, and all the tweets are coming back, saying just some very how can I say this is some very not great takes on things, like saying, when the Mavericks got Rondo, that he'll make them a Western Conference Final contender, and getting Dwayne Wade and Rondo again will make the Bulls one of the best backcourts in the league, and the list goes on and on of suspect Magic Johnson tweets. And like I said, Magic Johnson, a great businessman, great basketball player, great personality, but his track record of just some of his opinions as far as what he thinks makes a great, make a team great or player or whatever, any of that stuff has been very suspect and very shoddy. And you can't, like I said, it feels so bad, but you can't deny that you have to feel worried about this. And I mean, look, like I said, and you hate how it's just so, like, it's so, like, close to home. It hurts because when he says things like, like I said, I mean, Bill Simmons makes fun of it, but it's true. When he says stuff like he reaches out to, to Derek Fisher, and he's reaching out to Byron Scott, and he's reaching out to Robert Horry and James Worthy and all his former teammates who are guys who are just TV analysts and stuff, like, and he, like I said, as a fan, as a homer and all that stuff, like, you just don't want to admit that. God, that sounds so stupid, but you read everywhere else and you see other things. They're all looking at the Lakers and laughing at this. Like, I mean, it's like I said, it's so sad. And I mean, I'm gonna go into this very optimistic, and I know we, as Laker fans, you have to go into this optimistically, because the only way to look is up now. I mean, everyone said, oh, Jim Buss has got to go, Mitch Kupchak's got to go, blah, blah, blah. They've been seeing it for the last few seasons now, and now they're gone. And we've got to look up, and we have to stay optimistic, and we have to stay positive. I mean, I know it might be hard, but we have to. And big up to Beto Duran. He straight up said it. He's like, Jeannie Buss doing this and flexing her muscles, dropping the hammer, this is her doing essentially not the right thing, but in business wise, like, this is what was best for business essentially. And like, she held her brother to his word. He didn't upkeep it, and she had to lay down the law. Now, like I said, by doing that creates this new change where things have to be more serious. Like, okay, like, fun and games were over. Like, we have to get serious about this and start rebuilding. And he said, no more, it's just an exaggeration, but he's like, there's no more room for puppies and Laker jerseys and stuff like that. Like, it's time to get serious. And like I mentioned before, I know it's going to be different because Jeannie handles the business side and Jim would handle the basketball side. So, of course, she's going to do essentially what's best for business, but, that also goes for, like, marketing and sales and bringing in the, bringing home the bacon and all that stuff. But ultimately, it comes down to, you got to win, and it's got to reflect on the floor. So, like I said, I hate to say that I'm worried that Magic Johnson is this guy who has to make all these decisions. But man, I mean, from what I'm seeing, I mean, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna look on my Twitter, but I wanna credit the right guy. But apparently, going forward now, no player is safe. And with the trade deadline coming up in 2 days, or ending, I believe, on Thursday, that's gotta be, that's got to find it. That's got to be, kind of not discouraging, but it has to kind of, again, worry you a little bit. Where Brandon Ingram, they were upset that they couldn't get Boogie like I said, you're putting just putting pieces together. They were upset that they couldn't get Boogie, and the reported deal on the table was that the Kings wanted Ingram, and then Kupchak and Jimbo said no. And if them not being able to get Boogie was the dividing line or the final, the last straw, you got to put two and two together there. So it just seems that now everyone's expendable. And that includes Brandon Ingram, that includes D'Lo, that includes Randall, that includes Clarkson. Everyone knew Lou Will was already on the trade block, but everyone is now expendable. These guys who Laker fans, were ready to give the keys to and say, here, it's your team now. Like, you need to, ready for them to develop and work together and have a great core, because when of course they haven't been as great as you want them to be, but they're young. They're all in their, early 20s, and they still need time to work together. And you see it in some flashes, and when they do come together, they look great. And it's given a lot of Laker fans hope and something to look forward to, and a reason to tune in and say, man, I really want to see these guys gel and play well and succeed together. But now saying all this, that that they're potentially expendable, I can't believe I can't find that tweet right now. I was just going crazy on Twitter, just retweeting everything I could find, just trying to take notes and do all that stuff. All right, and here it is. It's from Arash Markazi. Now, he didn't say exactly that everyone's expendable, like the way I'm kind of painting the picture, but he's saying Jim and Mitch were attached to their young players, but there was no player on the Lakers roster that is safe if there's a player Magic wants. And like I said, it's not directly, no one is safe. Again, he is saying it, no one's really safe. Everyone's expendable. And again, that scares you because, like I said before, I teased it a little bit in that other episode where I brought this all up initially. Bringing in Magic feels like a step back, and it's super sad to say. I'm not going to say it anymore because I've said it enough, but it feels like a step back. After we've taken these little steps forward, it's a medium-sized step back. And, you're afraid Magic might do something like, Ingram for Melo or something. And I'm exaggerating, but, that's not out of the realm of possibility with a guy like Magic Johnson. And it's like all you have to do is go on Twitter. You see everyone making jokes. And the reason why these are essentially, the people are joking about it is because it's partially true. And there's just this, it's not out of the realm of possibility is what I'm trying to say. And that's scary because you have these young guys who have a lot of potential, and and to see them, be traded for a guy like Melo or, someone like maybe Rondo. He apparently really likes Rondo, or, a D Wade, or it feels like he's going to try to trade. That's the worst case scenario, is him trading at the deadline one of our young guys who we've invested so much in already and have so much hope for a guy who's past his prime. And that's the worst case scenario. Another thing too is it does feel like I said, another step back, because so now there is with Mitch Kupchak gone, there is a general manager vacancy. So that means they're going to look for someone else. And just according, based on what's been going on and what I've been reading and seeing and stuff, the lead candidate is Kobe Bryant's agent, Rob Pelinka. Now, I don't know all this stuff about Rob Pelinka. I just know he's a pretty good agent. He represents Kobe, like James Harden, Trevor Ariza, and a lot of other good players. You can look it up. But I just did a little, I did my Googles a little bit and stuff, and I don't know if he has any real front office experience. Like I said, I'm not, some expert or anything, but I don't know. It's not like, like I said, I've said it, like Bill Simmons said it best. This isn't like some kind of job that you can just jump into, unless he's been preparing and this is something he's really wanted to get into. I don't know. No one really knows, I don't think. But it's not like it's like I said, yeah, it's not just something that you feel like you can just jump right into, you know? And yeah, it just shows that again, it's like it hurts because it's so close to home with Lakers, but the Lakers really, really do just love, you know, doing shit from within. And, you know, sometimes that's great, but sometimes that can hurt you too, because that sometimes can lead to just hiring a lot of yes men, you know? And like I said, I'm just super. I know I'm not alone in this feeling. I might sound like someone might say like, "Oh, I'm not a real Laker fan. I don't trust them. I don't really care. Like, I just want what's best for the team." And just it's okay to be worried. If you're out there feeling like you don't know what to think, it's okay to be worried. I mean, there's a lot of questions out there right now. Like, you know, because like I said, Magic is so. Like I said, I hate to say it, but Magic is so unpredictable, and it's just worrisome. You know, and then some other candidates for the GM, you know, are another former agent, Kobe's first agent, Arn Tellem, who I believe is doing stuff with the Pistons or something right now, if I'm not mistaken. He's a guy in the running, and then some other guy like Neil O'Shea, the Blazers general manager right now, which the Blazers aren't looking too great. And then Neil O'Shea was with the Clippers before that, and then I guess the guy from the Cavs is another guy that's in the not David Griffin right now, but the guy before him. I guess he's in the running too, but I don't think he's really got any leg to stand on. But yeah, it's a lot of questions, not a whole lot of answers. Like I said, I'm gonna be as optimistic as I can be with this, but it's just with the trade deadline 2 days away, and apparently the issue was not being able to land a key free agent. That scares me because I don't want to bring in an older guy for a young guy. You know, I just don't. And a lot of Laker fans don't. And like I said, there's just so many. Like I said, sometimes whenever change happens, you can be unsure but optimistic. Like, oh, okay, hey, you know what? Hey, we can only go up, which I'm trying to do because the only way to go is up. But like at the same time, it's like this is not a good feeling to have, and I'm not alone. You can just check Twitter. A lot of people feel the same way. Where it's not like, all right, cool. Like now we can. Oh, okay, finally we can like move on and we can do this or we can do that. It's almost the opposite where it's like, shit, are we gonna go back down that rabbit hole or are we gonna go backwards? And like I said, it's a lot of emotions going on right now. And whatever, which is sad because this is just at the end of the day, it's all just sports. But man, oh man, it was pretty rough the last few seasons as a Laker fan. And I know there's others, franchises out there who have it a lot worse, and who have had it a lot worse for longer than the Lakers fans have had for like the last, 3-4 years. But man, this isn't fun. This definitely is not fun. And other things, like I said, is Kobe get a call from Magic? I mean, he said it on the Stephen A. Smith thing where he's like, hey, the first call I'm going to make is to Kobe because he's a winner and he knows. But it's like, dude, Kobe's trying to be a venture capitalist and shit and trying to, work with Silicon Valley guys and investors and all that stuff. You think Kobe's going to focus on, players right now? No. And on top of that, speaking of, being able to focus, Magic is also doing stuff with the Dodgers. Now, I know he's just the face, it was part of the three-headed monster that, when the Dodgers were up for sale with, you had the guy with the money, you had the guy who had the smarts, and then you had the guy who was the public face. And Magic's just the public face. We all know that. I mean, we can, whether you want to admit it or not, we all know that. That's all he's there for, was to get the face so that he could help get, whatever. But still, like, like Ron Swanson said, don't half-ass two things. You got to whole-ass one thing. And I'm afraid he might you know, it might just half-ass these two things, and who knows what's going on, and especially for the Dodgers too. Like, what the hell? Like, I mean, I'm a Dodger fan too, and so it's like, hey, like, if you're just a Dodger fan and not a Laker fan, and you're looking at this from the outside saying, what the hell? What does that mean? Are you gonna not, like I said, are you gonna half-ass your Dodger job now? Like, what's going on? So, like I said, a lot of questions. It's still early. This is still relatively new news. Looking at what time it is, there's supposed to be a Laker, or there's supposed to be an interview with Jeannie Buss and Magic, I believe. So I'm gonna go ahead and check that out, and maybe it'll help myself and a lot of other Laker fans wrap our heads around what just happened. They're probably gonna say a lot of the same stuff we already know, a lot of stuff like that. But I mean, yeah. Ultimately, I'm optimistic, but I'm definitely worried. And like I said, I'm not alone. I feel like I'm not alone in this feeling, and at the same time, that's okay, because, or it's not okay, but it's justifiable to feel that way. If you're unsure, you're not alone out there. But we just have to be optimistic, and we have to trust it. We have to trust that they're going to do the right thing, that they're going to make the right choices, they're going to make the right decisions, and not just right now within this the rest of this season, but going forward in the next seasons. I don't know how long his deal is. They usually don't talk about that kind of stuff, but it's definitely going to have to be a process. And as basketball fans, we all know about trusting the process in Philly. Hopefully, the process here in LA can turn out a little bit better than their process has been over for the last few seasons. So yeah, that was just my thoughts on what's been going on. Again, Mitch Kupchak and Jim Buss are out. Magic's and Genie are in. So and there's still some more positions to be filled, and we'll have to just wait and see for that. So like always, thanks for listening, and if you like what you heard, go ahead and subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. And let me know what you think about Magic coming in as the new person of basketball operations, and all the other stuff that's been going on with the Lakers. Down in all the ads below. Check me out on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. I'm sure I'm not alone in all these different feelings. So yeah, I mean, just gonna have to wait and see. There's definitely, stay tuned for more from me on this situation. There's, like I said, there's definitely going to be more news to come from this in the next coming days. In the words of Worldwide Wob, Rob Perez out there on Twitter, big up. NBA chaos has officially ensued in these last couple days, and like I said, it's entertaining at the end of the day. As crazy and as emotionally driven as this all is, it's definitely entertaining. And so stay tuned for more from me. I got some cool stuff in the works. And again, thanks for checking me out. Thanks for watching however you're watching. Thanks for listening however you're listening. And like always, catch you guys next time. Peace.